Africa's Red Sea coast, where a country named Eritrea lies, which is over the years has earned a rather controversial nickname. It is called Africa's North Korea. Now, like North Korea, Eritrea does not have nuclear weapons. But both Eritrea and North Korea have been sanctioned by the UN. But Eritrea was only subject to an arms embargo, which was lifted in 2018. Now, ordinary Eritreans enjoy much more exposure to the outside world than North Koreans. Satellite television is common, and internet, though slow, is apparently uncensored in Eritrea. The African nation has also picked fights with its neighbors, but unlike North Korea, it does not pose an existential threat to any of them. Now, aren't these reasons good enough for why Eritrea is not like North Korea? Well, the similarities are even better. Eritrea is a country that has been emerging from decades of conflict. It is located in the Horn of Africa on the western coast of the Red Sea, bordered by Sudan, Ethiopia and Djibouti. Now, its liberation war from neighboring Ethiopia began in the 1960s and only ended in 1991. It was one of Africa's longest-running conflicts. Then Eritrea fought a war with Ethiopia between 1998 and the year 2000. It was one of the bloodiest in African history. The war ended formally only in 2018. Now, over the past decade, so many people have left Eritrea that it is called the world's fastest emptying nation. Eritrea and North Korea are both one-party states whose rulers have no appetite for criticism. President Isaias Afwerki is the only leader the country has known in over 3 decades of independence. His party is the only one allowed. He controls both the executive and the legislative branches. Human rights activists say that he has turned the country into a dusty prison camp. Eritrea, like North Korea, became a military state. It has a government-supported compulsory system of indefinite conscription. Now, according to reports, there have been several instances of torture, violence, and forced labor. Even young school children are not exempt from the abusive system. The United Nations says it amounts to slavery. Fearing that the citizens may flee, the Eritrean government locks them in. To leave, a conscript requires a permit, which is almost never granted. The only alternative left is to escape, but this comes with the risk of being shot by having to pay a bribe. Now, this quite mirrors North Korea's model. Now, both the countries are also closed economies, with almost no private sector preaching virtues of self-reliance, with trade abruptly stopped and a once invisible border replaced by an iron curtain. Eritrea's long Cold War with Ethiopia had effects similar to those of the Korean War. Prolonged conflicts and severe drought and adversely impacted agriculture. Now, there are no independent media outlets in either of the countries, and the government controls the narrative and tightly restricts access to information in both Eritrea and North Korea. Now, in 2021, Reporters Without Borders ranked Eritrea as the worst offender globally, surpassing even North Korea. But unlike North Korea, Eritrea does admit to some of its policies being repressive. However, the government says the policies were a temporary response to threats from Ethiopia. Now, it says peace between the neighbors will bring in change for its people. Can Eritrea get this label of being called Africa's North Korea gone anytime soon? Firstpost reports from the world's second largest continent. Hello, I'm Alison Lagrange. A very warm welcome from Durban, South Africa. We get you the news and the newsmakers from Africa. South Africa goes to the polls on the 29th of May. I will track the election and bring you ground reports. Is it the end of the road for the African National Congress? And will former President Jacob Zuma stage a dramatic comeback? From elections to climate change to innovations and opportunities. As the world's attention shifts, we report from Africa, the heart of the global south. Join me every weekday live on First Post.